We welcome you to our weekly broadcast on our HETV Game of the Week, as this week it takes us to Barrington High School, the home of the Phillies, for the 29th annual MSL Soccer Bowl, as the Phillies, who come in with a record of 13-3-2, welcome in the ElkGrove Grenadiers with a record of 9-5-2. Should be a great battle out there for the 29th annual Soccer Bowl. Let's go down to the field now for the game action.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Barrington Community Stadium for tonight's event, the 29th annual MSL Soccer Bowl. And now, for player introduction, beginning with the team in green and black, to your left, representing the MSL East, the ElkGrove Grenadiers. Number 1, Amanda Sitkowski. 2, Riley Sitkowski. Number 4, Alexa Joshi. 5, Malia Mendez. Number 7, Zoe Blomquist. 10, Katie Telling. 11, Gabriella Morrow. 14, Marissa Morrow. 15, Emma Slattery. Number 20, Lila Aguilar. And in the net for the Grenadiers, 22, Rachel Handifer. And now for the team to your right, wearing white, your Barrington Phillies. Number 2, Christine Catminer. Number 6, Ashley Rocco. 7, Michaela Kerr. Number 9, Juliana Moreno. Number 12, Ashley Bell. 14, Rebecca Shoemaker. 16, Jen Gilona. 18, Kate McGreevy. 19, Maddie Rosen. Number 21, Tina Tyke. And in the net for the Phillies, number 1, Samantha Schmitz. At this time, if I could ask you all to please rise and remove your hats and join us for the play from our national anthem. The ElkGrove Grenadiers are coached by Maria Sanchez, Kristen Gehrman, Julia Maraza, Phil Winter, and Joe Bush. Barrington Phillies are coached by Ryan Stenberg, assisted by Chris Ryerson and Ryan Allen. You can catch a replay of tonight's game on HETV, Channel 6, off the States. Replays Wednesday at 8 p.m., Saturday at 2 p.m., and Sunday at 9 a.m. At this time, ladies, to your sides, let's Play soccer.
All right, so you saw the introductions of each team. We'll see them get out onto the field in just a moment. It's the 29th Annual Mid-Suburban League Soccer Bowl here from Barrington Community Stadium here in Barrington High School. You'll be hearing from Bruce Anderson throughout our broadcast as well. I'm Ryan Fay with you here for our HETV Game of the Week that pits the Phillies of Barrington, who come in with an overall record of 13-3-2, 10-1 out of the MSL West, and the ElkGrove Grenadiers with a record of 9-5-2 and 4-0-1 in the MSL East. So it's East versus West in the MSL Bowl today. It's the final tune-up for both teams that'll be seeing IHSA playoff action this year. As for the Barrington Phillies, who are the defending Class 3A champions, they're the 1 seed in the Rockford-Guilford High School sectional, and they'll be playing in the Rockford-Auburn Regional next Wednesday the 16th, and they'll be taking on the winner of the regional quarterfinal between Rockford-Auburn and McHenry. Meanwhile, for the Grenadiers, coming up ahead for them after the bowl tonight, they'll be playing next Wednesday in the Lake Park Regional to take on the 7th seed Schaumburg, while the Grenadiers are ranked as a 10 seed. Grenadiers you see on your screen in their road half green, half black jerseys going left to right, while the Barrington Broncos in their home all white uniforms with the red trim, red numbers. Grenadiers have the gold outline along the letters and numbers, while it's black coloring on the inside of it. And your goalies stacked up as play begins, and the 29th Annual MSL Soccer Bowl is underway. Rachel Candifer, wearing number 22, is in the gray jersey for the Grenadiers in net, while for the Barrington Phillies in the blue jersey in goal is Samantha Schmitz. As we have play underway, 2 40-minute halves here in IHSA soccer. Play along the far side and cleared out by Barrington. And one of the things to kind of keep an eye out for today on the Barrington side in particular is the Wisconsin-bound Michaela Herr, who comes in on the season with 7 goals and 9 assists in her senior season campaign, rather. As for the Grenadiers in goal, Candifer, just mentioning her a moment ago, who's going to go out and have the ball for a moment before it was ruled out of play, allowing .49 goals a game. So one may say that is pretty good on the stat sheet. These teams are familiar with each other. You have to go back to April 4th when ElkGrove came here on the road to Barrington to take on the Phillies, and Barrington won that contest by a score of 4-0. As the clear now from Samantha Schmitz in goal. Again, we'll go through your starters now. Samantha Schmitz, we mentioned in goal. Christine Batliner, number 2. Number 6, Ashley Rocco. Michaela Herr, number 7, who we just mentioned a moment ago. Number 9, Juliana Moreno. Number 12, Ashley Prell. Number 14, Rebecca Shoemaker. Number 16, Jen Devona. Number 18, Kate McGreevy. Number 19, Maddie Rosa. And number 21, Tina Tyke are your Phillies starting 11. As Schmitz clears this one high into the air. A bit of a windy day here today. Some storms were around the Chicagoland area. Didn't affect the northwest side here too much, but there is that looming threat later on here this evening, we've been told. We'll hope that'll stay off and have the best playing condition we can on the turf. As almost a turnover at midfield there for the Phillies, and they'll get it back, as that was Rocco to clear up ahead. You're starting 11 for the Grenadiers here tonight. We mentioned Candifer in goal, number 22. Amanda Sikowski, number 1, along with her sister Emily, wearing number 2. Alexa Joshi, number 4. Number 5, Aaliyah Mendez. Number 7, Zoe Blomquist. Number 10, Kate Talons. Number 11, Gabriella Morrow. Number 14, her sister Marissa Morrow. Number 15, Emma Slattery. And number 20, Leah Aguilar. Well, you're starting 11 for the Grenadiers in almost a head-to-head collision there, but that was averted as this one will go out of play behind the goal line. And it'll be I believe we're going to have a corner kick coming up, or a free kick rather, excuse me, for the Grenadiers as the foul occurred on the Phillies. And setting this one up is Emma Slattery, number 15, the senior defender. Slide from just outside the midfield circle in the Barrington defensive half. Gets set, gets it in towards the 18-yard box, and a deflection there cleared out by Barrington. As it sort of looked like Mendez was the one in the area to try to put a shot on it, but to no avail. As this one played on the far right side for Barrington, and out of play it goes. And with it going out of play, it'll be a Phillies throw-in. And the assistant coach for the Grenadiers, Dean Barrier-Sanchez. Ryan Stengren for the Phillies of Barrington. His assistant coaches, Chris Ryerson and Brian Allen. And for the Grenadiers, it'll be Kristen Glerman, Phil Winter, and Joe Bush. Barrington, a very time of possession team. You're going to see them have the ball a lot. If you're the Grenadiers, you want to take advantage of any chance you have with possession. Because now they get it into the ElkGrove half for a moment. No handball signaled, and they do, I believe, eventually call it a little bit of a later whistle.
So the Grenadiers able to keep the pressure on here early on in the match.
You haven't seen much offensive pressure so far from Barrington. Good call on that, Bruce. I guess this is a team that can get on the prowl quickly. As this one, a nice free kick in towards the box, and this one will go out to the far corner. And that one will go out of play, and it'll be a goal kick for Samantha Schmitz. Schmitz, you see on your screen in the blue jersey for Barrington. All the rest of her teammates in front of her. The other 10 in the all-white with the white socks. ElkGrove in the all-black socks as well. And taking that kick was Maddie Rosen, the junior defender for her goalkeeper. Battle in midfield between Ashley Prell and Alexa Joshi. Grenadiers on the far left side in the defensive half, trying to speed around to get it before the goal line was Gabriella Morrow, the junior midfielder. Good hustle, but not in time. Again, 2 40-minute halves of soccer we play. We just played over 5 minutes. It'll be Rosen to take the kick again. A very nice night here in Barrington at Barrington Community Stadium. Clouds hovering over with the sun starting to set. Stadium lights will take effect later, but they are on. And a play now in towards the box for Amanda Sidkowski. And diving to her right to stop that one from developing any further was Samantha Schmitz, the senior goalkeeper. And she lets traffic clear out. Her kick back now right by midfield will take a high bounce to the far right side for the Phillies. And the Grenadiers will center it back. And now Barrington trying to get their first offensive opportunity. It may come right here. Prell, number 12 in white, with the ball shot on in, diving to her left and making the stop. Ball still in play, and she makes a second attempt to stop it. As Candifer stops the first attack from Barrington. And we are going to have a corner kick coming. It'll be our first corner of the afternoon. Or evening, rather, as the sun begins to set. That's if remember, it's evening now with the later months into the year and the sun staying out later.
It's a beautiful thing.
I haven't had many opportunities to have nice sunsets in the Chicago area over the last month or so. As taking this corner is Ashley Prell from the far side. It gets into the box. Header there, and that one just to the side. Didn't miss by much. Didn't see from my angle who got it, but out of play it goes. It'll be a goal kick for the Grenadiers. But a nice setup off the corner kick. 7.5 minutes played of this first half, just underway. No score between ElkGrove and Barrington in the 29th annual MSL Soccer Bowl. The Grenadiers representing the East Division while the Phillies representing the West. It's the Grenadiers' first appearance in the MSL Soccer Bowl since 2002. While for Barrington, this is their 6th consecutive appearance. Get a whistle and a foul. They've been away from the ball. That's against ElkGrove. So the Phillies will have it off the reset. I mentioned Barrington with a 13-3-2 record this year. Grenadiers with 9-5-2. Zoom tight there, Bruce.
Thank you. Now, this game really nothing to sneeze at.
Yeah, nothing to sneeze at all. Well, if you're ElkGrove, you want to be careful of all the opportunities you're going to let Barrington have against you, as that one goes out of play for a Grenadier throw-in. As if you're ElkGrove, you're going to be allergic to the shot chances Barrington may create. As the header from the back end of the Phillies placed to the right side for ElkGrove. And the Phillies will clear to the near left side for themselves and then back up ahead. And to the Grenadier half. Slattery will be the one to clear it away. Be another Phillies throw-in. Prowl will do the honors, going into the corner, but nobody home. A little bit of miscommunication there, it looked like. As in she may have been trying to go for her teammate Michaela Herr, the Wisconsin Badger-bound Philly. 9 goals and, I should say, 7 goals, 9 assists this season. Ashley Pro leads the team in goals with 15 this year. Now along the far side, but out to the yellow sideline, out of play. Another Grenadier throw-in coming. ElkGrove coming into the end of the season rather on a very high note after resulting in a tie against Hersey back on April 20th. They rallied off 6 straight wins. Beg your pardon, after a tie against Elgin on the 21st. They had back-to-back ties, then rattled off 6 wins in a row to win the MSL East Division through tiebreakers, rather, because they were in 19 points alongside Buffalo Grove, Prospect, and Hersey. And due to the tiebreaker scenario, ElkGrove awarded the MSL East Division title based off of tiebreakers through the IHSA. And a nice save there off the free kick from Candifer. As
It's amazing to have 4 teams tied for the lead.
5 teams total if you include Fremd out of the West. And the top 2 in the West were Conant at 28 points in second at 9-1-1, and Barrington atop the West with 10 wins and a loss, no ties. And to the recent Barrington success this decade in girls soccer, that is to the shock of no one. Ryan Stengren trying to lead his team back to the state finals, as mentioned, the defending 3A champs. Top overall seed in the Rockford-Guilford High School sectional when they begin play next Wednesday. So they'll have a bit of a commute for their quest to repeat out down I-90, as that one's out of play for a Grenadier throw-in. While for ElkGrove, we mentioned they'll be in the Lake Park Regional, so not too far when they take on a division foe, a conference foe rather, in Schaumburg, who was the 7th seed in that side of the bracket, while ElkGrove is 10. Comes another Barrington throw-in. Still no score. Glad you're with us for our HETV Game of the Week. The 29th annual MSL Soccer Bowl, putting the Grenadiers out of the East Division and the Phillies out of the West. Alongside Bruce Anderson, Ryan Fay with you up top Barrington Community Stadium on a gorgeous night for soccer. Not many nights we've been able to say that, but we were able to say it here tonight, and I can say it proudly. Grenadiers now with a nice chance. A lot of open space in front. Here comes the shot on in, but it's point blank right there for Schmitz to make the stop. But Zoe Blomquist had a lot of room in front of her, and she took it from about 30 yards out and rifled one then right into the breadbasket of Samantha Schmitz to make the stop, who went to her left a little bit towards the post, but not by much. So in terms of chances, that may have been the best quality chance we've seen so far from either side, unless you want to include the Barrington corner kick.
Oh, why not?
That's really been, Bruce, as you mentioned, the only significant offensive chance we've seen from the Phillies here so far through over 13 and a half minutes of play. Like I said, Joshie, the midfielder, battling there with Rebecca Shoemaker. A couple of midfielders going at it. A couple of underclassmen going at it. Joshie, the freshman, Shoemaker, the sophomore. And a bit of a miscue there in the Barrington defense, trying to stay with it, and we get a whistle and a foul in the box, I want to say, right outside of it. And as Blomquist tripped up, and an A-plus chance coming up from roughly 25 yards out. And we'll see who's going to take the kick. It looks like it's going to be Slattery, number 15 in the green and black uniform for ElkGrove. And it looks like it will be her. The Phillies' defensive wall stands out front in front of the 18. Big chance here for the Grenadiers to strike first here on the road. As the players get set right on the edge of the 18 inside of it. Here comes the kick from the Grenadiers. That one goes right into the Barrington wall, but it's stopped. Second chance goes floating on in, and a one-hopper that Schmitz is able to stop. Sometimes with those one-hoppers, it can be a little tricky to get on top of, but Schmitz right there to make the stop. As Schmitz clears it right to left at midfield. That ball immediately deaded out towards Shoemaker, rather. Players tumble, no call. Krell now with a chance along the left side into the near corner. Krell trying to make some move around towards the line, plays with it, and trying to play the passing game to herself. Didn't work, and the clear out by the Grenadiers successful towards their bench. And we're going to have a couple subs now for Barrington as Ashley Armando comes in alongside Ellie McCauley, number 10. As Shoemaker will come on out, and we'll get a number on who also checks out in just a moment. As coming out was Jen Devona, number 16. So those are the two substitutions for the Phillies. Cross in towards the box that Candifer has the easy stop on going to her right. And she lets traffic clear out. No subs yet on the side of the Grenadiers. As we mentioned, Armando and McCall are the new Phillies in for Barrington. And Shoemaker and Devona out in place. Back towards the left backs of the Grenadiers' defense. They look to center at midfield, and they do. Amanda Sitkowski plays it back to her right. She'll get it back right at midfield. A nice battle there with Michaela Herr, the senior midfielder. She was looking there for a team at Ashley Rocco, but Rocco was not at the spot on time. Blomquist, who's had a couple of nice chances for the Grenadiers here early on, went to clear ahead, but that one out of play for a Grenadier throw-in. Now played 17 minutes of this first half, almost at the halfway point. Still no score. And the 29th Annual Mid-Suburban League Soccer Bowl, pitting the East Division winners of the ElkGrove Grenadiers and the West Division winners, the Barrington Phillies.
So it sounds like the Gren's peaking at the right time.
And just as we say that, almost a chance in trying to stay onside, but not successful, as Ashley Pro, as the offsides flag from the side official went up.
How did Barrington close out their season, do you know?
Barrington closing it out on a high note with a victory over Conant back on the 5th last Saturday. Barrington was a semifinalist in the Naperville Central tournament when they lost to Naperville North back on April 30th. And again, not very often we've been able to say there's been a Barrington loss. And mind you, that one was in tourney play in the Naperville Central tournament. Play stays in along the far left side for the Grenadiers, and a centering play from Blomquist kind of grounded out, so to speak. As play up ahead, Ellie McCauley, who checked in a few moments ago, crosses it into the box, but no white jerseys to be found. This one stays up in the air, headed around a few times. Looked like Candifer was trying to tell her teammates in front of her, let me get it, but that wasn't the case. Barrington stays alive with possession along the far corner, but out of play it goes, and a goal kick for the Grenadiers. So Barrington trying to put the pressure on as we approach the halfway point of this first half. Still no score. And glad you could join us for our HETV Game of the Week here from Barrington Community Stadium for the 29th Annual Mid-Suburban League Soccer Bowl. Alongside Bruce Anderson, Ryan Fahey with you here on the call. And future programming note as well. We'll actually be back here at Barrington next Wednesday for IHSA Boys Volleyball State Playoff action. Teams, of course, will be to be determined, but be sure to stick around and catch all the action we'll have for you for that next week.
That will be the MSL Championship game, another East versus West.
And the crowds do come on out for that, as Bruce and I talked before the game here today. It is a very nice crowd here at Barrington Community Stadium for the 29th Annual Soccer Bowl.
It is. It filled up kind of late, people coming in, but they did come in.
Yep. ElkGrove, I believe I saw earlier, had a rally fan bus drop off some students and fellow Grenadiers supporters. As, of course, they have the crowd on the main side of the stadium in front of us here, not the opposite side. But from our vantage point, I would say it's about half full, with a crowd that's still trickling on in.
Very good turnout for a soccer match.
And they had a great night to come out forward as a bit of an ankle breaker put on there by Ashley Crow. Little give and go action back to McCauley on the left side, although McCauley lost her control, and the Grenadiers will clear it. Good defense there from the junior in Marissa Morrow, number 14 in the green and black uniform. And Grenadiers in a half green, half black jersey with the black shorts, black socks. And the Barrington Phillies in their home white uniforms with the white jersey, white shorts, white socks. And staying with the play there is Kate Talons, the sophomore midfielder. Played centered back for the Grenadiers outside the edge of the 18. Although trying to look for support there was Amanda Sitkowski. Didn't get much, however, playing in front of the Phillies bench. And this one will trickle out towards the Phillies goal line and out of play. Going to have a Grenadier substitution now, as Isabella Tierney now will check on in. And it'll be Aaliyah Mendez coming on out. And it looks like that'll be the only substitution we see in this sequence. Looked like Andrea Mendeville was going to come in, but she may have to wait till the next stoppage of play. So she'll head back to the bench. Nothing on the side of Barrington just yet. They had two of them earlier when McCauley and Armando checked in, and that one out of play. And with that foul against the Phillies, it'll be a free kick to the near right side for the Grenadiers. So we play 22 minutes of this first half. Slattery to take this kick from the right side. A couple players sprinkling now towards the edge of the 18 and in. A missed header there, and a clearing kick goes behind the goal line out of play off of a Grenadier leg. And Schmitz and company will have the goal kick for the Phillies. Again, this is the first time Grenadiers have made it to the MSL Soccer Bowl since 2002, so 16 years in the making. And the Grenadiers in the late 90s, early 2000s were a powerhouse soccer program. Kind of the changing of the guard went from the Grenadiers towards Barrington, as they've pretty much held this decade down in terms of MSL dominance. 6th consecutive appearance here in the Soccer Bowl for the conference.
That's an amazing reign.
As this one, Armando was trying to play it on the right side. That one out of play for a Phillies throw-in. And yeah, Bruce, you mentioned of course, it's just a accomplishment just to make sure you qualify for the state playoffs. But when you make it to your conference bowl 6 years in a row, And that's no easy feat either. And now that you're coming off of a state championship victory as well, staying as the top seed in the upcoming section you're going to play in, that just shows you the kind of program that Ryan Stengren has built here in Northwest Suburbs. As that one is out of play, and an upcoming Barrington corner will commence. And going to take it will be Maddie Rosen, number 19 in white. A couple players in towards the edge of the 6. 4 white jerseys out there right now. 3 on the outside of the 18. 2 back at midfield. And, of course, Rosen to take the corner kick. It's the second corner kick for Barrington here this half. None yet from the Grenadiers. Rosen will have the left boot on this one coming. Signal she's ready. Players move in the box. Hang time corner comes in, and that hang time gave enough time for Rachel Candifer to make the stop. And she lets traffic clear out.
And that was really a pop-up.
Yeah, the wind coming in out of the southwest, so in the way that Rosen was kicking direction-wise, that one was going to hang up a little bit and kind of stay stagnant in the air. McCauley plays it back to her left defensive side for Batliner, the midfielder. And this one along the left side in the Grenadier half goes out of play. And assuming right away a throw-in was Prell. Smart awareness there from the junior just to make sure to keep play going as quick as she could. Meanwhile, Michaela Herr lost it on the edge of the 18, and the Grenadiers clear. Grenadiers have been standing tall defensively so far through this first half of play. Anytime Barrington's try to put up an offensive opportunity, other than a couple corners, it's really been ElkGrove to seize control. Play now for Blomquist on the left side of the 18, trying to center it. But Schmitz makes a stop.
As you observed earlier, Barrington with a much more controlled offense. The Grens more hit and run.
And Grenadiers aren't afraid to get aggressive towards the box. And against a team such as Barrington, why not? And the former coach Dan Klaus for the Grenadiers, who retired last year, was part of the, or rather a huge part as to why the Grenadiers were so dominant in the early 2000s for girls soccer in the mid-suburban league action, not just in the league, around the state too. He kind of passed the torch off to Dean Burrier-Sanchez, who in his first year here has put together a very respectable first-year campaign. Not a lot of coaches often will, when you get the keys to the car, can drive it pretty successfully, and that's what Dean has done here this year.
Yeah, first place finish in your first year isn't too bad.
Yep, and a trip to the Lake Park Regional next Wednesday. So he'll get his first taste of playoff action as a head coach next Wednesday when they take on Schaumburg, a fellow mid-suburban league conference rival. And a lot of the one-on-one battles, we talked about this a moment ago when we talk about the offense of Barrington. The one-on-one battles, ElkGrove has really been on top of it, winning the one-on-ones. And then just as we mentioned that, Maddie Rosen clears space along the left side, crosses into the box, gets over the outstretched arms of Candifer, and a diving header attempt went under the header of her as she came in about a hair early. As that one goes out of play, but probably the best chance Barrington's had here in this first half.
That was very close.
If her had gotten contact with the header, that one would have easily been in the back of the net. As Candifer, that one went over her position inside the box. As we mentioned, even offensively for ElkGrove, Candifer playing aggressively too, trying to play in front of it. Instead of the ball kind of coming towards her, she went towards it, and the wind in favor of Rosen, who had the cross in. So the wind was going to push it towards the opposite side a hair more. I always mention the elements can always affect the game of soccer. And it was in favor there of Barrington in that instance to give her an excellent opportunity. That went out of play for a Grenadier throw-in, but going to have a substitution now as coming Coming in for the Grenadiers will be number 5, Ashley Armando, or I should say rather, Aaliyah Mendez, excuse me. And Tierney now comes out, number 6. So the substitution that was made earlier for the same 2 players has now been reversed. So we're back to the original starting 11 for the Grenadiers. Meanwhile, for Barrington, still in off the sub was Ashley Armando, number 5, and Ellie McCauley, number 10, while Rebecca Shoemaker, number 14, and number 16, Jen Devona, remain on the bench at the moment. But that's not to say they won't come on in later in the match here tonight. On a gorgeous night here at Barrington Community Stadium. Temperatures getting in towards the 60s. They'll probably be in the low 60s, high 50s by the time we get done here this evening. But clear skies. No threat of rain at the moment, which is what we want to hear and see. Tina Tyke, number 21, the sophomore midfielder. That's the thing, too, with this Phillies squad coming off of a state championship. A lot of underclassmen on the varsity roster. As you have, taking a look at it from the sophomore perspective, 7 or 8 sophomores on the Phillies squad on varsity, along with 2 freshmen.
Which bodes very well for the future.
And that's, again, coming off of a state championship victory. So the Phillies are set for a while with the talent in place. And a nice move there. This one from Ashley Prowl. Cross into the box, and that one just missed. That one went through there of Tyke and Armando, as they both try to get a leg up on it, as that came in hot and towards the box from the left side. But neither could get a leg on it. And that one somehow threaded the needle through every body in the box. And it came for a Grenadier throw-in with under 9.5 to play here in this first half. At halftime, they'll be honoring the all-conference players of the MSL. As this one deflects in off the left hand of Candifer and into the back of the net. And the Phillies strike first, 1-0.
Wow, nice shot.
Ashley Prell with the strike. And Barrington strikes first at home with 9:16 to go in half number 1. So make that 16 goals for the junior forward as they get on the board here first in the 29th Annual Mid-Suburban League Soccer Bowl. And that one kind of was generated from nothing there. Pearl just kind of motioned to her right, made a spin move around on the edge of the 18 and just fired it past the left side of Rachel Candifer, who kind of got caught flat-footed when she ranged to her left to try to make the save. As it kind of deflected off the fingertips there, but couldn't get enough on it to make the stop. And that's how we get to our 1-0 lead for Barrington. Opportunity now for ElkGrove as they were looking there for Amanda Sitkowski. And clearing it out was Rosen, the junior defender. And now another opportunity. This could be an easy breakaway for Pro. Ashley Pro with the goalie to beat. And she just misses it to her right. Oh, she beat Candifer. But just a little too much curve on the kick, goes out of play. What an excellent chance for the junior forward, Ashley Pro.
Don't see too many of those opportunities.
Yeah, that one snaked right through the Grenadiers' back end. As you had back there, Marissa Morrow. And it looked like Slattery may have been back in coverage too. As it somehow just kind of went through the Grenadiers' left back area, and next thing you knew, it was Ashley Pro on the prowl. .7:15 to play in this first half. Barrington having a 1-0 lead when Bruce could have easily been 2-0 off of a Pro golden opportunity. And as you mentioned, you don't really get many opportunities quite like that Prell got. And right on cue, it's Prell. Goes to her left with a few dribbles. We'll back play it to Ashley Rocco. That liner. Wanted to punt that one in towards the box, but that one way out of the range. And behind the line it goes and out.
At this time, I'd like to ask all of the mid-suburban all-conference players in attendance.
The PA you'll be hearing in the background throughout tonight is courtesy of Bob Seidel.
Once again, the mid-suburban all-conference players in attendance tonight, please start making your way down the track directly in front of
There's the kick there from the Grenadiers. And Slattery had it back at midfield. Gary mentioned these two teams a little familiar with each other. If you go back to April 4th, towards the beginning of the season, Barrington and ElkGrove squared off. And it was the Phillies who got a 4-0 victory right on this very turf. Back on that April 4th.
It sounds like the Grun's a very different team than they were back then at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, they really came in to the Soccer Bowl of the MSL today coming in hot. You go along with the two ties they had against Hershey and Elgin back towards the end of April and then rattling off win after win after win. And they too are a bit of a young squad, just like Barrington is. So both teams, of course, riding with momentum coming into the MSL Conference Bowl here today. And so far it's been the Ashley Prell show, and she may show it off here now with a little bit of a pass. It's Tina Tite trying to get in towards the box. This shot on in is a ground ball that is taking a couple hops in towards Candifer, who backtracks to make the stop. Now you're starting to see Barrington really pile on the opportunities ever since that first goal from Ashley Prell. Candifer coming out to make stop towards the edge of the 18. Under 4:45 to play now as we begin to rattle out the final minutes of first half play. 1-0 Broncos off of an Ashley Prell goal. And a foul looks like that's going to go against Barrington, and it does. And for about the first 20 minutes or so, it was mostly this game was controlled by ElkGrove. And in the last 10 minutes or so, it has been all Barrington.
It slowly shifted away from the Gruns toward the Phillies. See if the Gruns can get some of the momentum back.
Up the set piece kick. Headed there from Blomquist towards the edge of the 18. Broncos the Phillies. Broncos would be the boys soccer team. Phillies clear out for outside of the 18 for a moment as this one backtracks into said 18-yard box. Playing along that goal line there was Batliner. And that one goes out of play. And we're going to have a substitution now on the side of the Grenadiers, as Wendy Jimenez, number 9, will come on in. And coming on out will be Zoe Blomquist, number 7. Nothing changing on the side of Barrington. So we have just a hair over 3 minutes to play in this first half. 1-0 Phillies over the Grenadiers. Looks like we're going to see a a Philly substitution, as looks like Ashley Armando will come on in just a moment. As this one went in towards the 18, but it'll go out of play off the kick. So Armando now will come on in. And Tina Tyke will be the one out. Rosen to take the kick. This one skip pass towards midfield. Big collision there with the two cleats going at it for the ball. Back towards the ElkGrove defensive half. Prell circled back at midfield. Just looking ahead there for Jen Devona. And a miss play there as they were looking for Michaela Herr, the senior midfielder. 2 minutes left now in this first half. Phillies have the 1-0 lead over the ElkGrove Grenadiers for our HETV Game of the Week. Coming to you on this May 9th, 2018 from Barrington Community Stadium. Hustling along the right side now is Armando. Trying to keep the play up for Barrington. She does. Managed to get a crossing from the far side, but the Grenadiers' left side defense clears it out of the box. Barrington, though, still keeping it in the defensive half. Rocco chipped it on in towards the right side. Armando trying to dribble through a couple of green uniforms. Manages to somehow get a cross in. Stays in the box for a moment, and that one chips over the top of the field goal post and out. But talk about turning something out of nothing there for the Phillies in the box.
So she doesn't get 3 points for the field goal?
Unfortunately not, no. But you can say her field goal skills were pretty good. We have under a minute to play, 50 seconds now to be exact. Score may show as 1-0 Phillies, but it kind of feels a little more than a 1-goal deficit that they face, based on the pace of play that Barrington has ramped up here in the last 10 to 15 minutes of gameplay. As we take down the now final 30 seconds of this first half. Alongside Bruce Anderson, Ryan Fahey with you here on the call from Barrington Community Stadium for HETV Game of the Week. Again, next week we'll have the volleyball bowl, so to speak, with the MSL and boys volleyball next week here at Barrington.
That would be the volleyball.
The volleyball, there you go, that's the word I was looking for. Final 10 seconds will tick off. 3 seconds, 2 and 1. Corner kick trying to go off. Won't matter as this one comes to an end and the first half concludes. But not before an Ashley Pro goal that made the difference. And that's where we stand right now at halftime. It's the Phillies 1 and the Grenadiers 0. Time for a halftime break, and we'll get you set for second half action and more in just a little bit on our HETV Game of the Week. About to get set for second half action here on our HETV Game of the Week for the 29th Annual MSL Soccer Bowl. We'll begin the second half with a 1-0 Barrington Phillies lead over the ElkGrove Grenadiers. Alongside Bruce Anderson, Ryan Fahey with you here on the call up top here at Barrington Community Stadium. During the halftime portion, they announced the All-Conference players, Player of the Year, and Coach of the Year. We'll start with the All-Conference players that were named from the visiting Grenadiers. Rachel Candifer, the goalkeeper, along with Amanda Sitkowski, Alexa Joshi, Zoe Blomquist, and Emma Slattery were your all-conference members from the Grenadiers. And on the side of Barrington, they had Samantha Schmitz, Christine Batliner, Michaela Herr, Ashley Prell, Maddie Rosen, and Tina Tyke. Both head coaches won respective Coaches of the Year from the respective divisions. Dean Burr-Sanchez running from the East Division, and on the West side was Ryan Stengren for the Phillies. And the Player of the Year came from the Grenadiers and Emma Slattery. So congratulations to all those players and coaches that won their honors and received them during halftime. Both teams have now taken the field as you see on your screen. The Phillies now in the home white uniforms, white jersey, white shorts, white socks, going left to right on your screen for the second edition of 40 minutes of play, while the visiting Grenadiers in their road half green, half black jerseys, black shorts, and black socks are going right to left. Schmitz, the goalkeeper for the Phillies, is in the blue jersey, while Candifer for the Grenadiers is in the gray. Barrington will have possession here to begin this second half as they have the lead 1-0 off of a Ashley Prell goal from back in the first half. And we have the second half underway. Quickly a boot into the left side for the Phillies and trying to chase it down the left side for the Broncos as a cross into the box goes behind the net out of play. As a quick setup there off the opening kick to begin this second half. It looked like that was Prell along the far side. Either way, a goal kick now for Candifer and the Grenadiers.
Trying to catch him sleeping right off the bat there.
Yeah, and kind of how the first half had ended with much momentum on the Phillies side as this went out of play to the top of the arcing bench in front of the Phillies. As a Grenadier throw-in happens. But the beginning portions of this contest, as a couple players tumble, and it should be in favor of the Grenadiers, and it is. Grenadiers were controlling pace of play for the first part of the first half for a good 15-20 minutes, and then slowly Barrington started to take over momentum-wise. It eventually led to an Ashley Pro goal, and they've had the chances ever since before that first half had concluded. Slattery to take this free kick off the Barrington foul. The Mid-Suburban League Player of the Year, Emma Slattery. Header there gets into the edge of the 18, and the Phillies defense clears. Proud, the lone goal scorer here tonight so far. Works along the left side. A nice onside play there, looking for Shoemaker. As the cross into the box, centered in. Pro, that one just off the side of her foot there. Goes to the right, too far and out. It'll be a Grenadier throw-in. I want to correct myself. Jen Devona had this set up along the far side, looking for Pro. Grenadiers working along the left back defense, and out of play for a Barrington Phillies throw-in. Get another programming note. Our game of the week next week will be right back here at Barrington for the MSL Volley Bowl, as Bruce alluded to it as earlier. Of course, teams will be determined later throughout the week, representing the East and West divisions respectively, but we'll have that action for you inside Barrington High School in the main gymnasium. So be sure to keep an eye out for your future programming regarding that and more, as this one into the box for a moment, and a whistle and a call that goes against the Phillies in the box. Just a few minutes played into this second half, as the Grenadiers and Emma Slattery will have the free kick. Slattery, the senior defender, gets it back in midfield. I mentioned her as an all-conference member and the Conference Player of the Year in 2018. And her head coach, and Dean Burrier-Sanchez, voted as the Coach of the Year out of the East Division of the Mid-Suburban League.
Not a bad way to start your career.
Nope, he's in his first season after taking over for the great Dan Klaus, who led Grenadiers to many championship appearances. This one gets through to Pro on the left side, but the offsides flag goes up. So the chances starting to build upon what was in the first half, bleed over into the second, especially for Ashley Pro, the junior forward. But now has 16 goals on the season as a whole, to go along with 7 assists.
So what's the offsides line in soccer?
Offsides is where the offensive player gets ahead of the last defender before the ball gets in the area. That's why you have the side official for the offsides flag. Player can't be cherry picking, for lack of a better term. And that one out of play to the near sideline. It'll be a Grenadier throw-in. And we're going to have a Grenadier substitution, the first one of the second half. Lenny Jimenez now will check on in, as Amanda Sidkowski looks like she'll be coming on out. That's the lone change from either side on that stoppage of play. Wind coming out of the southwest direction, kind of blowing from right to left, near corner to far corner on your screen. At least in the way of the Grenadiers' offensive. If they go to the far side, the wind will be blowing in that direction, and then the opposite for Barrington. And seeing the Barrington starting the second half, other than the opening act, when the time started, this one rockets towards the bench out of play for an ElkGrove throw-in. Other than the initial play to try to get an opening off a cross from Devona, Barrington's kind of been just kind of calm in their offensive approach, letting it kind of come to them. I mentioned ElkGrove's aggressiveness back in that first half, and it led for them some quality chances. But it did not lead to any goals into the back of the net. Mendez. That one skips out towards the Grenadier bench out of play. And we get a whistle and it's like a conversation between Tina Tyke and the head official. Might be a warning about something behind the play. And this one, once again, out for an out of bounds Phillies throw in. 6.5 minutes played of this second half. Still 1-0 Barrington in the 29th Annual Mid-Suburban League Soccer Bowl. Glad you're with us on HGTV for our Game of the Week here on this May 9th, 2018. Here at Barrington Community Stadium as the Phillies clear out along their left side and out. Alongside Bruce Anderson, Ryan Fay with you here on the call. And next week we'll have the Mid-Suburban League volleyball title game next Wednesday here at Barrington High School. Of course, the set teams will be to be determined still leading up to that. As Barrington now trying to flock the other way. And it's Tina Tyke, 21 in white, along the far left side, trying to center it in towards the box, but a nice play there from Slattery with the left foot for the deflection. Play goes back towards midfield. And a good cancel out from the junior defensive player Maddie Rosen. That goes out of play for a Philly throw-in. And the Phillies on your screen in the home white uniforms, white jerseys, white shorts, white socks. As that set piece kick goes out of play to the goal line and out. Grenadiers in their home, or I should say their road, half dark green, half black jerseys with the black shorts and black socks. Rachel Candifer, the goalkeeper for the Grenadiers, in the gray jersey, while for the Phillies, Samantha Schmitz is in the blue. Goal kick for Barrington. It's their third corner of the contest, first of this second half. Rosen to take said corner from the far side. It gets on in, traffic in front, where's the ball? And no one knew where it was actually, and it eventually, out of the massive pile, dribbled behind the back line and out. And we'll see what they call. Looks like they're going to call another corner kick, and they do. A lot of traffic and deflections in front of Rachel Candifer. And for her sake, good thing it went away because she did not know where it went, and I don't think a lot of the players on the field did either.
I sure didn't.
A quick dribbler into the box, set back up as they look there for Ashley Prell, who took that corner. Now back along the far side. That cross setup goes a bit awry. Now the Grenadiers looking to race back the other way. This one a bit hot on the pass, and they were looking there for Mendez. And a good clear there from the right back of the Phillies. Grenadier throwing up coming, and coming back in now is Amanda Sidkowski. And looks like she is taking the place of number 4 in Alexa Joshi. Or my apologies, not Alexa Joshi. I'll get the confirmation on it in just a moment. I believe it may have been Wendy Jimenez who just checked out. She was listed as active out there to start the second half. Play just over 10 minutes of this second half. Still 1-0 Barrington. Again, these two teams last met on April 4th here at Barrington Community Stadium. And the Phillies had a convincing 4-0 win over the Grenadiers. So both teams have seen each other here so far in 2018. The 6th consecutive MSL Soccer Bowl appearance for the Phillies. While for ElkGrove, this is their first time in a bowl game for the Mid-Suburban League since 2002. As for the Grenadiers, they won a 4-team tiebreaker that included Buffalo Grove, Prospect, and Hersey, who were all tied atop the Mid-Suburban League East Division with 19 points. All of them finished 6-4-1 in conference play this year. And based off the tiebreaker scenarios, it went in favor of the Grenadiers. And the top teams in terms of points and tiebreakers as well in the Mid-Suburban League Conference as a whole were 3 teams out of the West. Barrington, as we mentioned them a moment ago, followed then with Conant, then Fremd. Ellie McCauley now is set to come on in. She will be in for the Phillies while Rebecca Shoemaker comes on out in her place, so that's the lone change off of that stoppage of play. We saw McCauley come in the middle stages of the first half, and she was able to make a quick impact off of a couple of nice set opportunities. Devona for the Phillies tried to play it up at midfield. Back to the Grenadiers. Aaliyah Mendez had it, and a whistle and a foul against Barrington. And Slattery will take the free kick. Slattery, the Mid-Suburban League Conference Player of the Year, the senior defender, helping the team to a 9-5-2 mark overall. As this one gets in towards the edge of the 18, bounces in her favor for a moment, but the Phillies defense is able to clear out. Nice side heel kick there, it appeared, from Tyke to Prell, who's up along the left side. Gains some speed, getting into the box, looks to center it in. She does, shot in, and a goal! The freshman midfielder, Jen Devona, 2-0 Phillies. What a wonderful setup from Prell to Devona as the freshman strikes in the Soccer Bowl of the 29th season in the MSL, and the Barrington League now doubles. So the freshman gets on the board. And a whistle and a foul that looks like it's going to go against the Grenadiers, and the Grenadier faithful that have made the trip out here not pleased with the call. Again, a great crowd on hand here tonight. Header up into the air from Tina Tyke. It's Mendez. Leah Mendez. Get that for Alexa Josh. This one hops in towards the box. And letting that come to her was Samantha Schmitz, the goalkeeper for Barrington. 2-0 Phillies off of the Jen Devona goal. Off the great setup off the left side of the box from Ashley Prell. A little give and go action that the Grenadiers clear back. Amanda Sikowski making sure that Schmitz cleans it up respectively, so that way she stays on her toes as the goalkeeper, even though she has a 2-goal lead. In the defensive half, Grenadiers trying to make a chance happen. That was Gabriela Morrow for the Grenadiers trying to make anything develop. They had 5 all-conference players honored at halftime. And another chance now for the Phillies. Prell on the left side, centers it into the box for Tina Tyke, and that one skies over to the right side and out of play. And Tyke is a little slow getting up as she fell to the turf a bit awkwardly. Looks like she landed on her left leg. And it looks like she may be trying to just stretch out. Hopefully she'll be okay. And now it looks like they will call for the training staff to come on out and check on the sophomore midfielder. So clock has stopped. Played almost 16 minutes of action here in this second half. As they take a look, it appears at the left leg of Tyke, who when she went up for the cross attempt from Prell, appeared to have, when going to get the shot attempt, landed awkwardly on her left leg. She tried to get up right away, and that's when she had the pain commence. But a 2-0 lead for the Phillies. We'll step aside off this injury timeout. Again, the 29th annual MSL Soccer Bowl is our HETV Game of the Week. Be right back. We're back with you here after the injury timeout to Tina Tyke, the sophomore midfielder. Just joining us, she went in for a shot attempt off of a cross from Ashley Prell. And when she went to take the shot, she landed on her left leg very awkwardly. And you can only hope nothing but the best for her and that she'll be okay. And it's a decent loss if you're Barrington, a very good midfielder they've had, especially here in this game and also with this season. She's got 9 goals on her sophomore campaign, so you lose a pretty good offensive presence in the sophomore. It'd be very hard to see her come back in tonight's game, but of course the long-term goal to make sure she's okay with playoffs starting next week. And she was assisted off the field, but looking at her on the track right now along the near side, she appears to be in good spirits, which is a good thing you want to see. So as we get back to play, Barrington off the goal kick from the Grenadiers. They have it back for a moment. The Grenadiers try to clear. Stays in their defensive half, and then we go back to midfield. 2-0 score in favor of the Phillies for just joining us. Had the injury timeout that delayed us for a few moments. And this one, the Grenadiers clear out to their left side. And looking down again, Tina Tyke on the track. In good spirits, with a cup of water right now, talking to one of the trainers. And appears to be walking good underneath her own power, so that's the positive that you want to see. Bat lining out with a cross into the box. It's the top of the netting and out of play. So another goal kick for the Grenadiers. Looking to see who came in her place. Get that number for you in just a moment. As the goal kick from ElkGrove goes back towards midfield, and almost a misplay by the right side defense. Looking like it may have been Alexis Armando, the sophomore, that checked in. As this one was way out of play, but a whistle before the kick. As there'll be a set piece coming up now for the Grenadiers. Also out there is Ashley Armando. So the 2 Armando sisters out there. Didn't see officially who came in, but I believe it was one of the Armando sisters, as they're both out there. Meanwhile, get into the boxes. Prell shot in and off the top of the crossbar. No goal. We play on.
Wow.
Ashley Prell goes top shelf, but off the top of the crossbar. And you saw the net move from behind the crossbar a little bit, and some of the fans thought it was in the back of the net, but to no avail. So that's twice now that Ashley Prell here in this match has had A-plus chances where she only had the goalie to beat, and she missed it by inches. If you recall, in the first half, she missed a shot that went just a hair to her right to the side of the post. And then just there, the boot in from inside the 18 off the top of the crossbar. Looks like the post may be still rattling. Devona, who is the lone goal scorer in the second half for Barrington. Ashley Rocco gets it back to her defense at midfield. Ashley Armando now with a little give and go action as it finds Michaela Her on the right side of the 18, centers it, shot there, missed, and another chance coming, but diving out to make the stop is Candifer, as trying to tail on in was Christine Batliner.
Nice pass, but a whiff.
And we have seen Barrington whiff on a couple of opportunities. They more so came from back in the first half of play, when at the time we had kind of fallen under the agreement it was ElkGrove in control of the match, but ever since the midway point of the first half till now, the midway point of this second half as we approach it, it's really been all Barrington.
Yeah, it really has. They've just been relentless with the pressure.
High kick along the right side from Batliner. Ooh, a couple of Grenadiers collide. Everybody gets up okay. Meanwhile, back to action. Prell along the left side. Prell being tailed from behind with a nice stop move along the left side of the 18. Centers herself. Looks for a move, but can't. And the Grenadiers clear. Centering passing from the left side. Stays alive. High up in the off a deflection. Slattery was the one to clear off the header. Good hustle there from Leah Mendez. But she's bodied off. But she'll have the throw in for her team. Layla Aguilar, number 20, with the throw in to Mendez. Now Blomqvist. So Blomqvist who had a couple of chances for her team in the first half of play. There really hasn't been much since. So we're over halfway through this second half. 2-0 Barrington in the 29th annual MSL Soccer Bowl here from Barrington Community Stadium. Prell with a crossing from the left side. That one almost could have angled in towards the net. We had a few weeks ago in our game featuring Hoffman Estates and Conant in girls soccer, we had a goal that came from that same angle, from the near side rather, and it ended into the back of the net and caught everybody by surprise. So another goal kick for the Grenadiers. Slattery with the boot. Play now for Leah Mendez, who went 5-hole on a Barrington defender. Give and go action. They look there for Joshi. Has to backtrack it though for a green jersey. A big boot in towards the box, but it's too far to the left. That one off the shot there was Gabriela Morrow. Wendy Jimenez now will check on in for the Grenadiers.
First opportunity for ElkGrove for a while.
As you mentioned, that first opportunity, that makes Alexa Joshi come to the bench. Appear to be hobbling off, favoring her left leg. Hope she's okay. That's the change there for Wendy Jimenez. Ashley Armando had it for Barrington for a split second. This one stays with Aguilar. A back and forth play along the near left side. Blomqvist. Now over to Talons. Or beg your pardon, Gabriela Morrow, 11 in green. And a Barrington clear. And that'll be a Grenadier throw-in. And coming on in now for Barrington will be Rebecca Shoemaker, number 14, in just a moment. We'll see who she comes in for. The next dead whistle, I believe, will have the substitution happen. Been over 23 minutes now of this second half. 2-0 Phillies over the Grenadiers in the MSL Soccer Bowl. The Grenadiers representing the East Division, Barrington representing the West. And perhaps a big opportunity now brewing here for the Phillies as it goes along the right side for Ashley Armando. Armando plays along the right side, staying onside his bat liner to the near corner. Cross into the box, deflects off the hands for a moment, and eventually recovering is Candifer to make the stop. A great chance for Barrington, but better goalkeeping from Candifer, who coming into play today averages just under half a goal a contest. And that stat has gone down a lot in her category based on the incredible run that the Grenadiers had towards the end of their regular season. Of course, she was mentioned as no conference player representing ElkGrove at halftime as that one rockets in towards the Barrington bench. And the substitution now will commence for the Phillies as Shoemaker now will come on in. And checking out was get a number on it in just a moment. We also had a ElkGrove substitution too. As it looks like Alyssa Cobb checked in. This one, that one, a header there attempted from McCauley, but the offsides flag had gone up in the box. So shot would not have counted either way. Leah Mendez checked out for the Grenadiers for Cobb.
So you're saying the ElkGrove goalie has given up more than 4 times her usual in this game?
Based on the average coming into play today, that would be correct off the math ratio. You mentioned coming into today, I'll go a very aggressive team, very stingy defensively. Barrington has been known at times to really pile on the scoring. The game against Wheeling, they put up 14 goals in a 14-0 shutout.
Wow.
That was back on April 25th, and another substitution now for the Grenadiers as Gabriela Morrow will come on in. And we'll see who she checks out for. As it looks like Amanda Sikowski will head to the bench once again. She does. Another goal kick for the Grenadiers. To go back to what we were just talking about there, Bruce, there's been an 8-0 victory against Hoffman Estates, a 5-0 victory against Wabanzi Valley in tournament play in the Naperville Central tourney at the end of April, but this team can pile on the goals. Offense has not been a problem for them this season. ElkGrove,
easy to see why.
Yeah, and the highest goals in the game for ElkGrove this season has been 6. They had a 6-3 victory on April 23rd against Hoffman Estates, so both these teams were able to both pound on the defense of the Hawks of Hoffman Estates. Isabella Tierney will be coming on in for the Grenadiers in a moment. As we get the ball back in play, and taking this kick is Slattery. A clear from the Broncos defense as we have 12:45 now to play. Chance trying to brew for the Grenadiers. And a late whistle for a foul. And a free kick coming for ElkGrove. The official didn't like the ball. He booted it back over towards the Grenadier bench. It almost actually hit somebody by the bench. Slattery to take the kick from about 40 yards out. We'll see where she goes with this kick. A rocket low one towards the defensive wall. Blomquist working along the left side. Good cancel out defensively from Christine Batliner. It goes out of play, and it leads to a Barrington goal kick. So well done defensively from the junior midfielder. Madeline, the junior, 5 assists coming into play today, as that one goes out of play. As Tierney now officially comes on in for the Grenadiers, as she takes the place of Wendy Jimenez, number 9. Aguilar with the throw-in. Coming up on 29 minutes played here in this second half. It's 2-0 Barrington. Glad you're with us for our HETV Game of the Week. The 29th Annual MSL Soccer Bowl from Barrington Community Stadium. Alongside Bruce Anderson, Ryan Fay with you here on the call. Again, we'll have the MSL Boys Volleyball next Wednesday. So check your local listings for that one coming up. Meanwhile, it's Prell. Into the box, header there missed. And that one will dribble out of play. The Grenadiers, again, in playoff action next Wednesday, will be in the Lake Park Regional, taking on the 7th seed Schaumburg. And for Barrington, they are the 1 seed in the Rockford-Gulliford sectional. And then they'll await the winner of the quarterfinal between the 16th seed Rockford-Auburn and 17th seed McHenry in that Rockford-Auburn regional. And that regional will be played on Saturday, May 12th for the quarterfinal playing game. And the winner of that game plays Barrington in the regional semifinal next Wednesday, the 16th, over at Rockford-Auburn. So that is where the quest to begin a repeat would begin for these Barrington Phillies. This kind of a half kick with the left foot there from Prell goes out of play. A goal kick coming. Leah Mendez now will come on in as Alyssa Cobb will check out. Approaching 31 minutes played. As Barrington has really had their control on this match for the better part of the last hour of gameplay, dating back to the first half. Meanwhile, McCauley on the attack. Prell again. This one deflects to the right side for the Grenadiers. Actually, the Phillies, rather. The left side for the ElkGrove defense goes out of play. Phillies throw it. Batliner on the throw-in. Nice play there from her. Didn't have much room to work, but still got to cross in towards the box. As that one goes out of play for yet another Barrington throw-in. Oh, a rocket there that I don't think Michaela Hurt thought was coming her way. She had to duck out of the way. Usually she'd get ready for a header, but now with the ball coming at her at that angle. More give-and-go action. That time between McCauley and Shoemaker. On the edge of the 18, Prell trying to make a move. Again, great crowd on hand here tonight. They like to stack the bleachers on the near side of us here. Again, it was a four-way tie standing-wise in the East Division between ElkGrove, Buffalo Grove, Prospect, and Hersey. And off of all the tiebreaker scenarios, ElkGrove was awarded the division title. As now this one is an opportunity for Ashley Prell. She's already got 1 goal tonight. Can she make it 2? No, she can't. She gets down in the box. Is there a call? I believe there may be, although we do have an injured player, and it looks like Ashley Prell is slow to get up. Or I should say, rather, that's an ElkGrove player, and that looks like that's Emma Slattery. And that is the Conference Player of the Year that may be down on the field right now. Although,
she's up.
Yep, she quickly waves off the train staff and the substitution that was going to happen for Marissa Morrow. She says, no, I'm good. So good to see she is okay.
Looks like she's getting a break, though.
It looks like she'll take the breather. And it looks like the substitution is going to happen, so Marissa Morrow is going to come in. As Slattery walking off on her own power. Their head coach in Dean Barrington said, get off for a minute, please. I'd like to save my player of the year in the conference for another time. Wouldn't be shocking if you see her come in these final few minutes of gameplay, as we now have under 7 minutes to go. Again, they'll have regional playoff action next Wednesday against Schaumburg in the Lake Park Regional. That is inside the Geneva sectional.
Oh, you are all over that.
Had to lay out the timeline of that one. You got to have your regionals, your sectionals, then your super sectionals, then state final. That's how the IHSA playoff formats work. Almost, if not all, IHSA competitions. Now some are regional, sectional, then state final. Another goal kick for ElkGrove. Slattery by the bench side looking to just come on in. Although she did, I don't know if you realize, she is standing right in front of the Phillies bench area. Looks like they're having her tape up her right ankle, it would appear. They've had it rolled up perhaps. But she gestures that she's going to come in as a sub in just a moment, so good to see that she is okay. 5.5 now to go. Although the damage may be done from the side of Barrington. This is their 6th consecutive appearance in the MSL Soccer Bowl. Meanwhile, for ElkGrove, this is their first trip back here since 2002. And when they were back here in 2002, they won the MSL title. It was their 3rd one in as many years. As we've mentioned throughout this broadcast, the Grenadiers program built up by Dan Klaus early on in the early part of the century really show how powerful they can be, as a chance there trying to claw her way in for a shot was Prell again, number 12 in white. 16 goals, 7 assists on the year. And it looks like Slattery is going to come on as a sub at the next dead whistle. So good to see she'll be ready to come on in. Off the kick, it goes play back at midfield. That went out of play. Again, Barrington will take on the winner of Rockford-Auburn-McHenry, and the Rockford-Auburn Regional coming up next week. So the one-seeded Phillies will have to make the trek out towards Rockford down I-90. And Slattery now will officially come back into the game, and you hear a good round of applause for Slattery coming back in. And I would think that would take the place of Marissa Morrow, who came in for her. And it does. Not to say today wasn't a bad performance by ElkGrove. They just were not able to capitalize on the early chances that they got back in the first half. That's still not to say something can still happen with under 3.5 to play. But Barrington has had their staple on this game since the middle part of that first half and onward. 6 of their players all conference, 5 of them ElkGrove respectively too. Both these coaches were named coaches of the year from their respective divisions. McCauley. And a diving stop made by Candifer. A low dribbler had some speed on it from Prell. And ranging to her left to make the stop was Candifer, and she's had to make a lot of those here this evening. And probably without her skills in goal, the deficit could be a lot worse than 2-0 that it is right now.
She's definitely been busy.
Busy indeed, and maybe other than the the first goal that was allowed from her that Ashley Prell scored in the first half that deflected off of her left hand. Couldn't really falter for the second goal that happened in the second half from the freshman and Jen Devona, where they kind of just picked apart the Grenadiers' defense in the box, and it was a point-blank chance that really Candifer didn't really have much of a chance to stand on. Because we now have 2 minutes to play here in regulation.
2 minutes remaining.
So the Phillies looking to go to 14-3-2 overall. For the Grenadiers, looking like they'll fall to 9-6-2. This final match before postseason play begins. And of course, it's the time when it's win or go home. Barrington showing us today why they are the defending Class 3A state champs. And looking like they're on another quest to be dominant and repeat as state champs. Nice pass along the right side. Devona, the freshman, the cross in, goes out of play. Goal kick for the Grenadiers. I want to thank everybody for joining us in our HETV Game of the Week here for the 29th Annual Mid-Suburban League Soccer Bowl between the East Division winners of ElkGrove and the West Division winners in Barrington, as we now have under a minute to go. And you'd think that Barrington may just decide to wind out this final minute. Again, our next HETV Game of the Week broadcast will be back here at Barrington High School for the Mid-Suburban League volleyball title for the conference. It'll be here at Barrington. The final two teams yet to be determined. We'll have that action for you next week, so make sure you check your local listings for that coming up on your television. Under 20 seconds now to play. Of course, we wish both these teams best of luck as they begin their journeys in the postseason. The final 10 seconds now will tick down. And the Phillies just clear up ahead. Ball goes out of play, and that will do it. So another year in the Soccer Bowl and another conference championship for the Barrington Phillies, who defeat the ElkGrove Grenadiers tonight by the final score of 2-0. Again, Barrington will head out northwest to Rockford to begin their journey to repeat as state champs to take on the winner of Rockford Auburn McHenry next Wednesday, while the ElkGrove Grenadiers have a date with Schaumburg in the Lake Park Regional, 7 seed versus 10 seed next Wednesday. They'll have the tournament presentation in just a moment. Bruce, final thoughts on this game?
It was just amazing how decisively it turned after that middle of the first half.
Yeah, because when we saw that, the way the first half had begun, you really thought ElkGrove was coming with a vengeance based on how they had played and had that, motivation coming in as they had lost to Barrington back on April 4th 4-0. But Barrington just too much in the end, and they get the 2-0 victory. And the MSL Bowl once again belongs to the Phillies. So that'll do it for our broadcast here tonight. Once again, final score, Phillies 2, Grenadiers 0. For Bruce Anderson, I'm Ryan Fahey. This has been your HETV Game of the Week. So long, everybody.